All right, folks. I am here with. Do you go by Momoko or Lauren Chin?
I go by Lauren Chin on YouTube.
Lauren Chin on YouTube, folks. I'm here with Lauren Chin on YouTube. You've probably seen some of her short videos on Pokemon and Animal Crossing. I was originally introduced to her content. Probably the day that the Diamond and Pearl remakes came out. I saw a short 20-second video and I clicked it, and then like everything I saw for the next week was community posts and videos from Lauren. I thought it was really funny. So I reached out and I was like, oh, hey, let's collab. Like, why not? So I'm Amiibo Doctor. I do all things Amiibo. Owner of AmiiboDoctor.com, that sort of thing. Literally, if it involves Amiibo, I've probably done something with it at some point, start to finish. So go ahead, Lauren.
Okay, so, oh dear. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No, you're fine. Any uhs and any of that we can cut out. Like this section right now, I'll probably just splice that out. It's not a problem.
Okay, gotcha. So, what are we talking about today? I mean, I know we're talking about Animal Crossing, but...
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about yourself, like how you got started on
me.
YouTube and...
My name is Lauren, as he said, Lauren Chin to be exact, and, I actually joined... I've been watching YouTube for several years, but I didn't make a channel until June of 2020. However, I didn't start making videos until probably this year. I just upload random things, like short things for my Switch, when I was also actually talking in my videos. I don't have a capture card, so anything on my Switch, it is just upload from those 30 seconds you can get. I also used to make a lot of polls. I still make polls, not as many. I got obsessed with it for a time, but... So...
Yeah, it was really funny to me. It was almost like you had hacked the algorithm on accident, because it was a lot of short videos, and like, I've never seen community posts specifically do so well. I was like, okay, I got to talk to this girl and find out what's going on, because like,
yeah.
Mamma mia. It was really amazing to me, not to butter you up or anything, but I think when I saw your content first, you were at like 1,000 subs. And
possibly.
Yeah, I think it's what's been probably like a month now, and you're almost to 6,000. I'm like, good lord. Yeah. I've been doing Amiibo for 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Amiibo Doctor for 3.5 years, so...
I don't know how it happened. Like, everyone's like, why is this in my recommended? Or why is this community post in my recommended? I'm like, I don't know. I guess the algorithm likes me for some reason.
Yeah, it's really weird. And you know, yeah. I get that a lot too. Like when a new Amiibo comes out, I'll usually have a video on it beforehand because I've trained the thing and I've got a guide up and all that jazz. And somebody's like, how did this show up in my recommended? I don't understand. Yeah. I'm like, well, look, you searched for the Amiibo. It's your fault.
Oh dear.
So I gotta ask you, when the Switch introduced that little 30-second feature, I thought somebody would end up making a channel out of it. What inspires you to like pick these topics? Because like probably every 10th video you make is an absolute banger, like 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 hits. How do you pick these topics?
I don't know. I just see something, I'm like, oh, that looks funny, or oh, that looks interesting. I'm like, you know what? I'll upload that. Maybe people will like it. I like also looking at comments. I like the communication and interaction with my viewers. They're normally very supportive. I've had some people that were very unkind, but, you know, that doesn't happen often. Most people are really nice in the comments. They seem very supportive of me. That's another motivation, is the fact that so many people are like, we enjoy your content, and we like listening to you, watching you, and I'm like, you know what? I might as well keep making stuff since they like it.
Yeah, you really do have... I guess this is kind of emblematic of Animal Crossing as a whole, and I'm not going to have display capture on, just the audio, but your Discord profile picture is also a picture of your Animal Crossing character, which I thought was pretty funny. But no, you give off that Animal Crossing vibe. You know, just in the community posts and everything. And I think that really contributes a lot to the success. Yeah. So which Animal Crossing game was your first one?
Wild World. Back in, was it 2007? I can't remember. When it first came out, that I got my DS for Christmas, for my very first DS for Christmas, and they got me 2 games. It was Animal Crossing Wild World and Nintendogs. And I was obsessed with that Animal Crossing game. Like, whenever I'd be with my friends, my friends didn't play video games. We'd play with toys instead, and I would always incorporate Animal Crossing into the toys we play with. And they're like, "Why do you keep using this?" I'm like, "Because Animal Crossing is so good." It just, I was obsessed with it, and I, even to this day, I still remember so many of the villages I had in that game. I love so many of them. Like, I'll see one in like Happy Home Designer or whatever. I was like, "Oh, I love you." And the second Animal Crossing game I played was New Leaf. I never played City Folk, but I did at some point play the original for the GameCube, but I didn't get as into it as I did with Wild World because I couldn't stand the way inventory and storage worked. I couldn't stand that. I couldn't wear a hat. I don't know. I guess there were just things about it that didn't click with me as the same way with Wild World.
Yeah, that's pretty common. I started Animal Crossing with the original. I played that for probably about 5 years before I got City Folk, and it is. I really consider it. I don't know if you're familiar with the Pikmin series at all.
No, I haven't played it. I know of it, though.
Okay. Typically, most people associate Pikmin 2 sort of differently than 1 and 3 because it's a different game. It's more cave focus and stuff. The first Animal Crossing is kind of like that as well. It's not nearly as customizable, but also a lot more rustic and homey than the later ones.
Right.
So I will say, if you loved Wild World, you would probably really love City Folk. Oh, it's probably too late to make this recommendation, but City Folk is basically just the deluxe version of Wild World. Yeah, it's almost exactly the same game, but it's got the city, and that's just awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I know that they use the same music as in Wild World, except it's just Wii sound font instead. Something like that.
Yeah, it was really like, if you've ever seen Animal Crossing on a budget, that's City Folk for you. So, okay, villagers. I have a favorite villager. That information is classified. Who's yours?
Mine is Rosie, and if you look closely at my little picture, you'll see that I have a picture, actually 2 pictures of her next to me. One's on the wall, one's on a little dresser. I had her first in Wild World, and for some reason I was just obsessed with her. I thought she was the cutest thing. I also always loved the peppy personalities back then. I still do, honestly. And I just got really attached to her. Like, one time she tried moving out, and I just kept spamming letters. Like, I was sending all of these letters and capital letters, like, "Don't leave me, I love you." And I'd keep talking to her, like, all day, just trying to convince her, don't move out. And I have her Amiibo card, actually. I got it from Amazon sometime after Welcome Amiibo came out for New Leaf. And I got her Amiibo card, so now I can have her in, like, every Animal Crossing game in the future until I stop making Amiibo functionality, basically.
Now you're talking my language. Have you ever seen the anime for Animal Crossing? There was an anime movie.
No, I've heard of it. I know that Rosie's in it.
Yeah, she's like the best friend of the player character. It's really it's hard to find a translated version. I don't think it's on YouTube anymore, but I really recommend finding it. You can probably pirate it somewhere, I'm sure. But it's a pretty great anime, I gotta say.
Oh, really? I'm sure it's cute. Everything Animal Crossing is cute.
Yeah, it's well. So my friends kind of make fun of me.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see me, but I'm 23. I lift regularly, so I'm kind of in good shape, right? I'm at law school, all that jazz. But I play Animal Crossing, and so when I go to the gym and I've got an Animal Crossing keychain. And I'm talking to Joe, who's 6'3", 330 pounds, and he can bench press half a car. He's like, "Is that KK Slider?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Awesome, I love Animal Crossing, but why do you bring that shit here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably a good point."
That reminds me of something I once saw. There was this cute little animation. It was for when Animal Crossing New Horizons and Doom Eternal were coming out on the same day, and some of the comment section said, "I am a huge grown man with all sorts of tattoos, and my wife is a tiny little lady, super cute, but she's getting Doom Eternal and I'm getting Animal Crossing."
Yes, that was the best crossover ever. I love that.
I love that. Oh my gosh, they should have added some sort of DLC to Doom or whatever that lets you dress as, like, I don't know, KK Slider or something, because you can't really dress as Isabelle, because I can't see that. Well, maybe Doom Guy could somehow pull that off. I don't know.
Right? And it was one of those things where, like, it was the pandemic, and so like everyone was
Yeah.
bored to tears, and just those total like coincidental things that
Yeah.
that's one of those things that you find in like the annals of video game history in 20 years. Like it just happens.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Me too.
That would be, imagine, I don't know if you play Smash, but imagine if
I do.
Doomslayer, you do?
Yeah. A little
Imagine
bit.
if Doomslayer got into Smash and they referenced
Uh,
that in the trailer.
that would have been great. Even though I don't play Doom, I kind of wish he became an actual character instead of a costume, just because it just seems like a cool idea to me. Like, I know a lot of people want him, and he seems like a cool character from what I've seen of him. So I'm like, I would have liked it if he got in. Like, it's not one of the ones I want, but I would love to see it. It'd be cool.
Right? Yeah, it was really, aside from getting Shrek and Geno, I got
Oh
pretty
my
much
god.
all the characters that I wanted. So having Doomslayer in there would be like, yeah, it was. I remember in Brawl, I think it was Brawl, might have been, no, it was Brawl. There was a lot of controversy over Solid Snake being in the game because he's from an
Yeah,
M-rated
right.
game, and everyone's all like, "Oh, he uses grenades, but it's okay. He doesn't use a gun. He only uses grenades, so it's fine." And then Bayonetta comes out in Smash
Yeah.
4. And then, Joker, for his neutral special, he wields a
He
gun,
wields the
right?
gun.
And the Doomslayer, it's just getting slowly more mature as the fan base grows, you
Yeah.
know?
To be fair, they can get away with it because there's no blood or gore or anything like that. They can make it look cartoony or something.
Yeah, I have
Like
a hunch
cartoon.
that that's why there's so many more visual effects in Ultimate, is because it
Yeah.
covers up a lot of stuff.
I actually was introduced to Bayonetta through Smash. Like, I didn't know much about her, and I wasn't sure if my parents would let me play her games because, just like me, they're Christians, but they're a bit more religious than I am. So I was thinking, what if they don't like that I'm playing a game where you fight angels? I told my mom about it. She's like, you know what? It's fine. I don't care. It's just fiction. So I played it, and I became obsessed with Bayonetta, and she's my second favorite to play in Smash.
Yeah,
First is, huh?
I'm a Pentecostal Christian, and my parents
Ah,
are pretty devout as well, and so I had similar rules growing up, right? And
right.
it was really funny for me because like Bayonetta is not really a game that I've ever been interested in, but I was always
Yeah.
really interested in Pokemon growing up.
Yeah.
And I take it your parents probably had similar rules?
Well, they didn't know much about Pokemon, but yeah, I don't know if they're what they are. I don't know which denomination they are. I think they may be Baptist or something, but they didn't mind that I played it because they didn't think it was evil. I know there was that one point that people were saying, "Oh, Pokemon's evil. It's of the devil." I don't know how they came up with that, but me, my parents, we never thought of that. So
Oh, you're so lucky. I actually still, fortunately, my parents don't watch my videos. I actually still have to hide the fact that I play Pokemon from my parents.
oh no,
I'm 23. I live 150, 200 miles away, and like I every time I buy something from Amazon or Etsy, I have to check, make sure it's going to my address and not theirs. Because if they open it and find Pikachu, I lose my last name. You know what I'm saying?
oh my gosh. Yeah, they never thought that way about Pokemon, and neither that. When I figured out that some people were saying it was demonic, I was like, really? Pokemon?
Yeah, it was
So that's
really. You know what that reminds me of? Oddly,
what.
do you remember in New Leaf with the Welcome Amiibo update, you could scan in. You couldn't do that with Pokemon, although I wish you could. But you could scan in like the Wolf Link amiibo and
Oh yeah,
and you could invite those villagers into your town.
yeah.
Do you ever wish that they did that with Pokemon, or at least just add it into New Horizons?
That would have been kind of cool if, like, you could have like a Pikachu themed villager or whatever other Pokemon amiibo there are. Like, I guess Incineroar, since that's in Smash. By the way, Incineroar is my number one main in Smash. I forgot to tell you that. But imagine an Incineroar themed villager. That they could make. That would probably be one of the tigers, though. Now that I think about it,
Well,
that
you'll
would be
be
cool.
pleased to know. So my channel, a lot of my content revolves around training amiibo in Smash and then having them fight,
Yeah.
right? And for about the last 3 years, up until I went off to law school, I was part of the competitive amiibo scene where we train each other's
Ah.
amiibo. You'll be pleased to know that Incineroar is literally the most broken amiibo or character in all of Smash history. Like
And
literally more broken than Brawl Meta Knight was.
he hits so hard, you know.
Oh yeah, and It's funny. I love explaining this to people, but like, it's kind of funny because Bayonetta is the worst and Incineroar is the best, so that's a pretty good duality right there. But Amiibo opponents, they don't have the AI to avoid a Alolan Whip, so Incineroar just hits him 3 times with a Alolan Whip. He always hits the strongest hit, and then they die, and they can't avoid it because they don't know it exists.
Oh my goodness.
It's
By the way, if you hear
hilarious.
noise in the background, that's my cat. She's got the zoomies.
No, I can't hear anything. You're good.
Okay. Well, if I have to scold her or anything, if I'm like, no, Mittens, you'll know why.
Did you name your cat Mittens? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, her name is Mittens because she's polydactyl, which means she has extra toes on her paws. So she looks like she has thumbs, which makes it look like she's wearing little mittens.
Oh, see, I thought for a second that was a reference to an Animal Crossing villager, and I was like, well...
No, it wasn't. I got her before. I have always been into Animal Crossing, but I didn't really get back into it until New Horizons. Like, now I'm obsessed with it. But I didn't name her after any villagers. I may one day name a cat after Rosie, maybe. I'll see.
I can see that. I was pretty pleased. I had a dog. She passed away in April. Her name was Sasha. I had her for probably 14 years, I think. And she was a cross between like a corgi and a Burmese, but we never figured out where her tail looked like a Cocker Spaniel. It was really weird. It was like 3 breeds in one. But she never had a villager named after her in Animal Crossing. There was never a Sasha. And then New Horizons shows up, and there's a Sasha, and I don't remember what species Sasha is, but I'm trying to get that character in my village for a while now.
He's a bunny.
Oh, it's a bunny?
Yeah, Sasha's a bunny, which it surprised me when they announced that he's female. To be fair, Sasha in some countries is a male name, but he has such a pretty appearance. It's not necessarily feminine, more like, it's not effeminate. It's just kind of like he's a pretty boy, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Oh, yeah, I see. He's one of the new ones, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's just like super cute looking and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Every time somebody says Sasha, I don't know if you've ever played Team Fortress 2, but I think of Heavy.
Oh, yes, I've seen the animations though. Oh my gosh, who touched Sasha? Who touched my gun?
Who touched my gun? Fun fact, I used to be able to do a great Russian voice until my freshman year of my undergrad, when I actually gave myself a throat condition that misaligned the muscles in my throat because I did much of Heavy's voice. That was how much I love Heavy.
Oh my gosh. But even though I don't play TF2, I've seen all those animations. I also saw Expiration Date. I loved all of those. The people behind it are very talented. They do great writing and stuff. I really enjoyed those.
Yeah, the TF2 is I suck at video games in general, and I really suck at TF2. But like everything else about it, I love. Besides the actual gameplay,
I love everything about the game except for how the game plays.
Right, that is exactly it. Yeah. Well, so okay, Animal Crossing.
Right.
I actually haven't been able to get on Animal Crossing. My Switch, I think I told you, my Switch has had a lot of issues lately. Can barely run Smash, and I haven't even played the new update. So, like, is it good?
Oh, yeah, it's good. There's a lot of good stuff. Like, the 2.0 update, there's still the only complaint I have is that the villagers still have a lot of the same dialogue. Like, there's not really anything new to say. If they ever do another update, which they said they do smaller ones, I know. I would love if they added a bunch of new villager dialogue, because they still say the same things. Other than that, like, there's so many better things. Like, the cooking is a fun little thing to do, but unless you want to break every rock on your island, I recommend that you have a toilet somewhere. Because, in Animal Crossing, you sit in the toilet when you've eaten something, it empties it somehow.
That,
Did you know that?
So the cooking, I really have kept myself spoiler free on this.
Yes.
I've never played Breath of the Wild, and I still don't know anything about it, even though it's been 5 years. That's how serious I am about spoilers. But this cooking thing, does that operate like crafting? Do you just go to a crafting table, or how does that work?
Well, you don't use a DIY bench or anything like that. You can use any type of kitchen, whether you actually, once you can download the, you have to go to spend Nook Miles to get the ability to cook. Once that happens, you will get a recipe for a type of kitchen, but you can use any type of kitchen like even the ones from Timmy and Tommy's to make food. And it's basically like crafting, except you need food materials.
Okay, that makes sense. That way it's
And
just a
sometimes you'll use
modification.
fish, and you can also come up with recipes when you catch a fish. For like, you're gonna love this. The sea bass is cookable.
I finally have a use for sea bass.
Yep.
Good lord, you don't know this because you never played the original Animal Crossing, or at least not a lot. There's
Right.
a 2 week span in the original Animal Crossing where sea bass
Yeah.
don't spawn,
Okay.
and I only go back and play the original Animal Crossing during that 2 weeks now. Yeah, because I've also played every piece of content that game has, even the e-reader stuff, but I love it so much because everything you catch is like a barred knife jaw or a red snapper, and you make
Oh my
tons of
god.
money. And that's how much I hate the sea bass. I love the first
Same.
Animal Crossing, but I hate and like I think it's like half of what you catch in that game is a sea bass, unless you know how to
God.
grind coelacanths.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks when we're trying to get a coelacanth and when it's raining. And what my favorite Twitch streamer, he was playing Animal Crossing, and he kept getting sea bass. He was found on not a cabin island because those weren't available yet, but he went like to an island that you can get with a Nook Miles ticket, and it was raining. I was like, I'm gonna try to catch coelacanth. So many sea bass. Like the thumbnail for his uploaded stream, it was pictures of sea bass, and it's at least a C plus. Just, I felt so
It's
bad for him, but
I
that's
know.
what it's like when you're trying to catch a big fish.
Which streamer is that?
His name is Vinny, but his stream is called Vine Sauce. We can't watch it on this because he is not family friendly. Like he's a
Oh yeah,
genuinely
no, I know who
good
you're talking
person.
about. Yeah.
Like he's a genuinely good person though, and he's entertaining. But he streams like a sailor.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I had a girlfriend years ago, and her dad was in the Navy. So
Mm-hmm.
when you say swears like a sailor, I can imagine.
Yes. Oh dear. Like I personally don't swear a lot, but I have nothing against people that do. It doesn't make you a bad person. You're just saying words that you shouldn't say. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. That's
Well, anyways, yeah.
the sea bass. I kind of can't. I'm a little bit shocked because for like, what's it been? 12 years since I started Animal Crossing. For 12 years, I've been like, wow, I hate sea bass, and
Yeah.
350 bells, 350 bells every single time. A little bit surprised.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if like food can be, what hot items are, right, at Timmy and Tommy's.
Hot, yeah, that's the one you get double the bells for that day, right?
Yeah, you can actually sell food is sometimes a hot item. Like food you make, you can sell that as a hot item. So you could get yourself some sea bass recipe if it's a hot item and just sell it for cash. Like I once sold some, I think pancakes were the hot item or something, and I can't remember how much it cost. It costs pretty good amount for pancakes of all things.
You didn't make pancakes with sea bass, did you?
No.
Worst
know.
pancakes ever. That's-
Yes.
yeah, no, I stopped paying so much attention to the hot item. You remember? Did you play New Horizons at launch?
Yes.
So you remember that first week there was that duplication glitch?
Oh, I never used that. I heard of it though.
Yeah, so I got crazy lucky. I had my Switch in airplane mode when it released, and they released it without giving people the option to delay it, right? But my Switch never once got the update, so I kept playing every day for about 2.5 weeks, and I duplicated the little Nintendo Switch thing, right? Well, about 2 weeks in, the not the royal crown, but the regular crown shows up at the Able sisters. So I started duplicating that, and then a couple days later, the royal crown shows up. So by this point, I'm like, look, 300,000 bells a pop. I have an inventory of 40 items. Let's go for max cash.
Oh my gosh.
And I did. Took me another week and a half, but I did. So my Animal Crossing town, I think I have like 910 million bells left because I've given away so much of it.
Oh my gosh.
Whenever I buy secondhand, I go onto like Nookazon and stuff, and I pay
Right.
like 10 times the price for stuff just because I can. You know,
Yeah,
it's yeah,
I'm rich, you peasant.
filthy. I did the same thing in New Leaf actually.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I got an action replay for 3DS, and I did the same thing. It
Uh,
was really fun. So
I used an action replay when I was still playing DS games, which I kind of wish I hadn't because what I was doing, I was using it on Pokemon, and I would like max out everyone's levels, so it wasn't as fun because there was no challenge. And I've replayed those games without the action replay. I mean, you know what? This is a lot more fun when you're not level 100 and nothing can and things can actually stand in your way.
yeah, the progression in the DS ones is a lot better. I'm playing
Yeah.
through Diamond and Pearl for the first time right now because I was like, okay, I want to play this, but I don't want to spend $60, so we'll just emulate the original. And yeah, Diamond and Pearl is the progression. I my first generation was Generation 3. I've played 1, 2, and
Same.
3. Never went past that, and you know Generation 2 is infamous for its rock hard level progression. I'm really glad they fixed
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, I started in Gen 3 actually. I still love those games. Well, specifically Emerald. Ruby and Sapphire were good, but Emerald is just for me it's a masterpiece.
So actually, if you don't mind me asking, I never understood that. Like, I started on Ruby. That was my first one.
Yeah.
But I understand there's a couple of version differences because you have the Battle Tower in Emerald. But like, what's the big difference between the two of them for you?
Well, Emerald has a lot more content. Like, first of all, there's the Battle Frontier and the post game, which is way better than just a Battle Tower, and they need to bring it back. Another thing is, you can remaster the gym leaders in the post game. The story's a little bit different. You can actually, if you want to cheese the Elite Four, you can catch Rayquaza at level 70. Just use a Master Ball on it before you, and you can use it to challenge the Elite Four, which I don't normally do that, but what else is different? The sprites move like when you send them out. There's just these small details that just make it better.
Yeah, it's
But
the
there aren't a
little
lot of
tweaks.
different. Huh?
The little tweaks.
Yeah, the little tweaks. Like
Yeah, that makes
there's
sense.
like some visual differences and stuff. Like there's just new things, and there's like I mentioned the Battle Frontier. What else was it? The gym leader rematches. Now you can actually catch some more. You can actually catch all three of the Weather Trio, which would be Rayquaza, Kyogre, and Groudon. So there's just it's not a lot of differences, but just enough to make it the best version of those.
Yeah. Do you think Emerald stacks up over Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire?
I think it does, just by a little bit. Like there's things that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire does better, but not enough for me. Also, one big thing I hate is how they change the music. You know how Hoenn is infamous for its trumpets in the original Gen 3.
Yeah, I
I
played the
love
trumpet
it.
in marching band, and I learned a lot of those songs.
Yeah. But I actually really liked the trumpets that, but they took so many of them out, and I don't know. I just didn't enjoy the soundtrack as much. But there's also the fact that Emerald has a bit more challenging, has the game corner, it has the Battle Frontier, it has the gym leader rematches. It's the better music. It's. I feel like it's better.
It feels
Also,
more
I didn't
fleshed
care much
out.
for the Delta episode.
Would you say it feels more fleshed out?
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't
makes
have
sense.
the main problem is it doesn't have the physical special split. But other than that, it's really good. I think.
Yeah, and I will say, the only thing that I really prefer about the new generations is the online functionality. I've
Uh,
always thought that a Pokemon MMO is the logical conclusion of it. And I've played the fan made ones, and they're just not as good, just in general.
uh,
But Emerald with online functionality, like the GTS and Wonder Trade and all that, that would just blow my mind. I think that would be the
yeah,
ultimate Pokemon game right there. So that's a good argument. That makes sense. I agree with that to a
yeah.
degree.
I actually once did a poll in a community post to see if people preferred Emerald or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and Emerald won.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I voted for Emerald.
Yeah. I think that Gen 6 is when Pokemon's quality started to kind of dip. Like, I still think the games are good, but they could be so much better. Like, I've seen what Game Freak is capable of. Like even objectively speaking, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 are probably the best games. Like, I do prefer Emerald, but objectively speaking, those are the best games. They have so much going for them. Like, all the content. It's like reusable TMs, just some quality of life updates along with so much content, and it's got nice sprites. It's such a fun game, and there's so much to it. Like, and then they go to X and Y where it just doesn't feel the same. Like, there are improvements. Like, you got 3D graphics, you got train customization, you got the fairy type, which I love, and the Mega Evolutions, but there's not nearly as much content in it. Not even close.
I actually haven't played. I haven't played much of 4 because I'm slowly going through Diamond and Pearl, like 3-4 hours a month. But I played. I played Y.
Yeah.
On the 3D. Yeah, it was 3DS, wasn't it? It was Pokemon Y.
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
played Y when I was in high school. It was a couple years after it came out, and I don't have I'm not familiar with Generation 5 at all to compare it to. But I felt like on its own, it's a good game. The environment is a little bit. It's not very thorough. One of the things I really like about the earlier generations is that the environment feels really thorough. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're, I remember it blew my mind. I think it was Emerald, but it might have been. No, I'm thinking of Gold, Silver, Crystal, Generation 2.
Oh yeah.
When you beat the elite, you beat the 8 gym leaders, and you come back to your hometown, and you find out that if you just had crossed this lake, you would have been able to go to Kanto.
Yeah.
And it's just right there, right? Why never really has that mind-blowing expansion or mind-blowing moment. It just feels linear. I think it's literally in a pinwheel formation, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I didn't really start noticing the quality drop like until Gen 8. Like, I realized, you know what, Pokemon games haven't been as good. I haven't paid attention to that. Again, I still have plenty of fun with them, but there's so much they could do things so much better. Like, I know they're capable of it, they just won't do it, and I don't get why.
Yeah, it's always really funny. Because how much does Game Freak make from Pokemon? Probably I don't know, 5-10 billion per game.
Probably.
And it's like, you don't have the resources?
The crazy thing about Junichi Masuda, who's basically the face of Pokemon, he started with Ruby and Sapphire, and get this, back then he was so concerned about how the games would do, it affected his health. But now he's doing poor games and lying to his fans about why they're doing the things they're doing. So how do you go from being so concerned to just hardly caring? I don't get what happened to him.
Yeah, and that's, I didn't follow Generation 8's development too closely, although I heard similar accusations. If I remember correctly, this is, from some guy in the Midwest, Japanese culture is like really weird when it comes to who has the right to say things. Like, there's all these odd privileges, so it was entirely possible that maybe it wasn't his right to say something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible he was told to say that too. So
yeah, it could be. And I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel bad for them. There was a video that I say that I watched, but really I saw the first 4 minutes of it. Called like Pokemon is a Logistical Nightmare. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and it's like, it makes sense. There's 1,000 Pokemon. Generation 8 is the first, like, open world. It's the Animal Crossing New Horizons of Pokemon, basically. Kind of lacking in content, but it's got a new engine,
Right. But do you think, back on the subject of Amiibo, do you think there would be any way they could implement Amiibo into a Pokemon game?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, with how much they sell, it is one of the biggest mysteries to me that Nintendo has never done that. They printed out 500 Amiibo cards for Animal Crossing. I'm sorry, 600 Amiibo cards for Animal Crossing. There's 1,000 Pokemon. Maybe not all of them deserve an Amiibo card, but I'm sure that there's a lot of them that do. Not even a figure, although we do have the Smash line of Amiibo figures.
Right.
Just a card. But no, it's a real mystery. I don't know how they would incorporate that. If it was like scanning the Amiibo and that's a replacement for catching the thing, I don't think that would work. Because then shiny hunting is just scanning the same Amiibo. That'd be silly. But with how much it sells and the profit margins on this, I actually wrote a comedy sketch that I plan on filming soon. With how much they make, I don't know why they don't. It's ridiculous.
I know. Like, you could be making even more cash if you did this.
Right. It's like, well, let's see. Your operating margins are 800% for the year. Would you like to make it 9? I mean, like, come on,
Yeah.
So if they were gonna put Amiibo in Pokemon, and they asked you, like, how would you do that?
That's a good. The thing is, I'm not sure what they would do. Like, we did mention, like, just instead of catching it, you get the Amiibo card, but that's kind of boring. So I don't think they would do that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you could, like, give costumes to your Pokemon. Maybe you could teach some special moves if you have their card, moves that you can't get anywhere else, any other way. Or, I don't know, maybe they could release Amiibo cards to give you the event instead of, like, mythical Pokemon. Like, instead of you having to go to GameStop and downloading it, like, if you have an Amiibo card that's for the event, you can just download that event.
Like what the e-reader did with Emerald.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I wonder if, they never do this, but I would really like it if you scan the Amiibo and it unlocks, like, a trainer battle. Maybe they don't do cards for the individual Pokemon, but maybe they do cards for trainers.
They did something like that with the e-reader in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. But it was never released outside Japan or something like that. But you could use the e-reader to download, like, all sorts of things. Like, you could get certain berries. You could battle train. In fact, there's this place in the 8th Gen city. It's called Tutopolis City. And there is this house. If you go in there, you'll see that there's this old man. And behind him is, like, a door or a staircase or something, and you can't access it at all. But originally, you were supposed to have e-reader cards, and if you downloaded them or read them or whatever, you could go back to that behind that old man and battle trainers.
So wait, if I'm understanding it, because I never knew what that door was for. I always wanted him to move, but, like, that's the e-reader functionality is what that was supposed to be.
Basically, that's what it was. But apparently, the cards never got released outside of Japan, or something like that. And there were some references, like there were some anime references. I think there was all sorts of different trainers you could battle. I think there wasn't just functionality with that room. I think there were other ways you could use the e-reader cards, but I can't remember. I'd have to do my research on it again.
That is, like, one of the things I've been meaning to expand AmiiboDoctor.com into is e-reader content. Because I see e-reader and Amiibo as basically the same idea. And, like, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know. I love the e-reader and I love the Amiibo. And the idea itself is so much cooler than just downloading an update,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Weird thing about the e-reader was the original Amiibo. It just didn't sell as much.
Oh, yeah. I think I wrote a post. Let me find this real quick. I think I wrote a blog post about that, actually. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Amiibo was the second e-reader card. Let me put this in chat. This is not to brag, but this is one of those times where I get to say, Doc called it.
Oh, dear. So, another fun fact about my channel, I did not want to name it Lauren Chin, but when I was told to name my channel, it said you had to put in your first and last name. I was going to name it Momoko6896, but I can only put my first and last name. And I have a friend, he asked if I would ever change my username. And I said, do you think I should change it to Momoko6896? And he's like, nah, I think you should keep it the way it is. I guess because that's what people are used to or something by now.
Yeah, I think real names on YouTube tend to do a lot better in general anyway. I mean, it's a lot more personable, As far as Google is concerned, my real name is Amiibo Doctor. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really funny. I had a personal email address that I used for the YouTube channel, and I put my real name on there, right? Well, I forgot when I was applying for internships a couple years ago. I majored in economics and finance during my undergrad, double majored, and internships are a big deal, especially with economics. So I'm applying for internships using my personal email address. But I forgot that I changed the first name on my email to Amiibo Doctor
Oh no.
when I was applying. Yeah. So I'm getting messages from like HR firms and from there was a real estate company. There was an insurance company that called me specifically to tell me I was an idiot for using my throwaway email. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's my personal email. And let's just say I never took that internship.
Oh no. My email is called Momoko6896 because I can't remember where I first heard the name Momoko. It is a Japanese name, but I chose it because one, I liked how it sounded, and two, Momo. It's actually Japanese for peach. Momo is, but there's also a word Momo-iro, which is Japanese for pink. I love the color pink. So I'm like, you know what, Momoko. That's like pink with ko at the end, and 6896 is my birthday. That's how I came up with that.
Well, happy birthday.
Oh no, 6896 is my birthday, like June 8th, 1996.
Yeah, that was the joke, because it's like 6 months away. That's June. Hey, that's actually my dad's birthday.
Oh really?
Yeah, not 1996, but my dad's birthday is June 8th.
Actually, fun fact, in Animal Crossing, I share a birthday with my second favorite villager. Her name is Peanut. She's a pink squirrel.
I think was Peanut in City Folk?
Probably, because I know she was in Wild World.
Yeah, I think I have her in my City Folk town.
I also have her amiibo card. I got it off of Amazon as well. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it wasn't a whole lot. I would never give in to the scalpers.
Well, you're in luck, because actually my website has a lot of tutorials on how to make them. So that's one of the other amiibo things that I do. It's kind of unhealthy obsession, but I'm Amiibo Doctor, so that's how it goes.
Actually, speaking of making them, I found when the Series 5 came out, me and my mom tried everywhere. Like, we tried different stores that I knew had them. So at the time, they didn't have them. But by the time they were out, no one had them in stock. Like, they were all sold out everywhere. Hold on a second. Come in. Okay. Sorry, that was my mom. Anyways, they're all sold out. So we went on Amazon to see if they had any. And it said it had every single Series 5 amiibo card. I'm like, I guess we'll try it. It was for like $50 or something like that. But for every single Series 5 amiibo card, that's a good deal, right? Well, I get them. And they're these tiny. They're like tiny. They're like almost the size of a Switch cartridge. I'm like, are they supposed to be like this? So I made a community post. I'm like, okay, so I got the Series 5 amiibo cards from Amazon, but they're tiny. Are they supposed to be like that? And people are telling me they're probably made differently. Like, it wasn't made by Nintendo and stuff like that. Like, they downloaded it onto something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually what I specialize in. I'm the one who taught my tutorials on that are sort of the tutorials that everyone references on how to make those. But yeah, no, that's actually a thriving cottage industry. Actually, people buy Amiibo chips. They're just regular industry Intag 215 chips is what they're called. They just buy Amiibo chips for 30 cents a pop from China. They take bin files, Amiibo bin files, what they're called. They put them on the chip, and then they sell them. They print them out in some things. And yeah, it's one of those things that tells you Nintendo leaves a lot of money on the table when it comes to printing stuff. They always undersupply because people love Amiibo way too much. And I'm one to talk.
But yeah, I everyone told me that. I'm like, oh no, is this illegal? Am I going to get in trouble for owning these? But they said I'd be fine. So, and they work. Like, I wasn't ripped off or anything. They work. It hasn't damaged my game in any way. So I'm like, okay, it works for me.
Yeah, that's the cool and the crazy things about it is that, like, so if you did you get a Peanut card from that pack?
No, that wasn't from Series 5. I got I got Peanuts Amiibo before Series 5. I just got the regular one off. It was an actual normal one from Amazon. I guess someone just wanted to give it away.
Okay. Yeah, so if you take, we'll say a Series 5 Raymond card, and then you take an Intag chip with Raymond on it, that has the Raymond file, they're identical. The way that Nintendo makes Amiibo, is literally just a plastic figurine, if it's an Amiibo figure, with that same 30-cent Intag 215 chip with the file on it. That's it. It's like, it cost them probably 30 cents, we'll say, for the chip, and then like $5 of polyethylene plastic molded into a specific thing. Bada bing, bada boom, you resell it for 16. And they still undersupply this crap all the time. I do not understand.
Yeah, but I got all those Amiibo cards, and I'm happy with it because, fun fact that kind of sucks for me. So Raymond was the villager I wanted the most, not because he's popular. I just really liked him. I like that he's smug. I loved his design. I love that he's a cat. But so I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to get his Amiibo card because I was going to just go with buying the packs and see if I could get him. So I spent 3 million bells on Nookazon along with 36 Nook Miles tickets to get him. Then later on, like, well, I was able to get the Amiibo card. Guess I didn't have to do that.
Yes. I've heard that story a million times. Yeah.
Because I didn't know for sure, am I going to get his card? So I'm like, you know what, I might as well do this. I have a plot open on my island. Like, I'm just going to go to Nookazon, do this. Then I get his Amiibo cards. Like, well, at least I can have him the next game.
Right? Yeah, and that was the funny thing. You know, are you in college at all? Do you have any higher education?
I plan on going to college. I had to leave because I had to work on my mental health. So I went for a little bit, but I left for my mental health, and I should be going back. I'm not sure when, though.
What are you planning on majoring in?
Veterinarian technician. It's kind of like a veterinarian's assistant. You know, I love animals, so...
Yeah, I gathered that from the 48-minute conversation about Animal Crossing. So when I went to college, I studied economics, right? And economics is the sort of field that you can apply to anything. And so I actually wrote a post detailing the economics of the secondhand villager market for Animal Crossing. Mm-hmm. And I haven't updated it since the Amiibo cards released, but let's just say that the whole market crashed once the cards came out. Yeah, you're not going to see people paying 3 million bells for Raymond anymore. We'll just put it that way.
It was crazy. Like, the worst part is people were paying real money, which I don't agree with that. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I don't agree with paying real money, but I certainly agree with selling it for real money because, hey, that's real money, baby.
Yeah, now I think about 3 million bells is cheap compared to what people were paying for him.
Yeah, well, you paid 3 million plus 36 in MT, weren't you?
Yes. The reason why it was specifically 36 is I was basically getting I was using every Nook Mile, the amount of Nook Miles I could use. And I had, let's see, what's 36 times 2,000?
72,000?
Yeah, so I had I think 72,000 Nook Miles left. So I 36 tickets in total. So.
Yeah, so that, if I'm remembering my exchange rates correctly, and that was actually a topic in the post because the exchange rates vary for bells to NMT and back again. You really paid probably 4 million bells ish. You just paid 1 million of that in NMT. But yeah, no, one of these days, because obviously money's not a problem for me. One of these days, if we play Animal Crossing together, I'll stack up my inventory with some moolah and cover you on that one.
I still have a large amount of money, not nearly as much as you, but I have almost 14 million bells, which going without glitches and stuff, that's a good amount.
Oh yeah, it's very respectable. Yeah, it's a lot easier to make a lot of money in the new Animal Crossing games.
Yeah,
I remember New Leaf was the first one that really broke it because with New Leaf you had the island, so even if you had no friends, you can make 400K an hour.
Oh yeah, I always did that. When I would just go there in the evening, and it's I'm just gonna catch lots of bugs and fish, lots of sharks and lots of beetles.
Yeah, I remember. I think my island is still destroyed. I only have 2. One of the things I used to do with my max cash is that I would go on, what do they call it, the Nintendo Island or the Club Island, where you could meet other people randomly.
Oh, you mean the Nook Miles Tickets Island? What?
No. In New Leaf, there was that option.
Oh, no. The The Tortimer Island? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it was something like that. You had your island for your town, but then you could also like go online and connect to other people's
Oh yeah,
islands just randomly. Well, so I would do that. I'd use the ATM and just like
yeah.
drop 30 million bells. Just
Hmm.
I think I burned through about 500 million bells actually
Oh
before
wow.
I got tired of New Leaf. But yeah, no, it was I remember in the first Animal Crossing, making money is really hard. Most
Yes.
people never cross over a million bells at a given point because
What I did when New Horizons came out, I decided I'd try revisiting the original Animal Crossing for a little bit. I didn't play it a whole lot because New Horizons is way better, but I just kept selling fossils. I didn't even donate to the museum because in the original, Blathers doesn't check the fossils. You gotta send the fossil through the mail, then you get it the next day. So what I kept doing was I'd instead of donating to the museum after they get checked, I would just time trial the next day and sell all the fossils so I could just keep paying off my debt.
yes, yeah, it was yeah. That's one of the reasons I love the first one, but also kind of hate it compared to the new ones, is because everything takes so much longer. You have three
Oh
weeds
yeah.
grow every day, no matter what. It takes a day to get your fossils and all that jazz. Um, I don't know if you knew this, but on the last day of every month, Nook. So when you bought something, he would like give you a ticket for that
Oh,
month.
that's right. I know about that.
Yeah, and then he'd do the raffle or whatever. That was really fun. But no, in
I
the
like
first. Oh, go ahead.
I liked how you could always ask to do a chore for your neighbor or your villagers, like because now you have to like you just gotta hope that they're gonna say, "Hey, can you do this for me?" Which hardly anything you can do other than deliver presents. But in that, you could just it was a good way to kill time and have fun with your villagers, like looking for their items or just doing favors for them. I wish you could do that in New Horizons.
Yeah, and you'd get like a new furniture item or something or a new shirt. That
Yeah,
was one of the best parts of it. Yeah, like in the first Animal Crossing, it's one of those games that sort of has a mystery to me about it because so much of its content is locked behind the e-reader. And
yeah,
besides, having a Game Boy and all that, because you have the island in the first one, but you
right,
have to have the Game Boy, right? And so
right,
I remember without the Game Boy Island, because you can duplicate if you have the Game Boy Island, the
yeah.
only way to make a lot of money is turnips, having two
Ah,
towns and doing turnips and stuff. And these days, not to sound like an old man, because I think you're actually older than me, but you kids
I
have it
am.
easy.
Yeah, oh yeah, they do. I'm actually 25. I look like I'm 16 though. I am very young looking, but I'm 25.
Back in my day,
Exactly.
we
That's
didn't
me.
have. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, the quality of life changes. Like I still don't get how we had to answer specific questions to get the face we wanted. When in New Horizons, you just choose what you want.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, when you put it
Like you
like that, that's a pretty funny way to put it.
Yeah, or you had to answer Harriet's questions to get a specific hairstyle. And I love Harriet, and that's kind of a cool idea. But the thing is, what if I don't want this hairstyle? What if I have to lie about to the answers of your question just because I want this specific one?
Yeah, the design philosophy has definitely changed over the years because it
Yeah,
used to be, like with Harriet, right? She would ask you how you're feeling and all that, and so it would
right,
more or less match how you're feeling, right? And
right.
I think you can tell that there's a new dev team on Animal. We'll put it that way. There's a
Y-
new dev team, and they have a
Probably.
different intention of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of quality of life stuff. Like people ask for more quality of life in New Horizons. I once saw a comment that said, "Wait, where's the quality of life update?" And it says New Horizons. I am the quality of life update.
Yeah, it's like you can put furniture outside.
Oh
That's
yeah.
it. That's the update.
Yeah, and also again, we mentioned customization is much easier. It's still pretty easy to make bells. Like I always go with money trees and fossils because got all the fossils donated to the museum. So every day I'll get fossils checked, I'll sell them, and I'll plant the 10K for the money tree, and I'll collect the 30K when it's done, and that's how I keep gaining money, basically.
See, I set a challenge for myself a while back because obviously, I don't need money. But I
Right.
figured out, I was like, okay, when I was writing that economics post, I was like, look, the exchange rates for bells to Nook Mile tickets are wildly different among different people. So I started with 1,000,000 bells, and I wanted to see just by currency swap how much could I make within 10 trades. I doubled my money.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all I did was buy Nook Mile tickets and then sell those for bells, and then buy Nook Mile tickets, sell them for bells, just over and over. And it was really fun. That's the sort of thing that you have to be a nerd, like a finance nerd like me to, because it's just so weird.
I'm a nerd when it comes to my interests. Well, I was kind of a nerd in the smart way too, because I was really good in school. Like I always made good grades and stuff. But in spite of that, I am very ditzy. Like I really am.
Oh yeah, I had a hunch about that. I kind of figured, you love Animal Crossing as much as you do, and you're going into veterinary technician, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're definitely a nerd. You're an animal nerd. Well, it's what are we at? It's 1:57 my time.
2:57 where I live.
That's right, because you're in Eastern time. Well, we've been going for almost an hour.
Yeah.
I figure we should probably wrap it up here. I really appreciate you doing this, Lauren.
No problem. No problem. I'm normally free because, like, I still can't get a job yet. Like, I'm going to try again in the new year. I applied to GameStop because although I want to go to college, I want to start small, like, just do a little job, and then I'll go to college. Also, it'd be nice to finally have my own money instead of having to rely on my parents because it's like I'm 25 and relying on my parents for money. It makes me feel kind of insecure. So it's like I want to get a job while I'm also studying.
Yeah, that is very... I remember... I'm not a workaholic,
right.
but I definitely work more than most.
Right.
I double majored and did Amiibo Doctor and had a part-time job
right.
during the whole... and I taught children's church as well for about 2 years. So yeah, it's a lot more manageable to go to college and work at the same time than people think.
Yeah.
You just got to, sort out your time and stuff. So, but it's much easier, and the path ahead of you is probably not that hard. I think you'll be all right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I'll, cut out one or two things, like I said.
Right.
Otherwise, this is going on my channel. Is that right?
Yeah. That's fine. Because I don't normally make videos like this. People would be overwhelmed to see an hour-long video from me.
I don't know. I kind of think they would like it.
You think so?
I do. I think they would like it. Your community seems very interested in you personally.
Yeah.
I remember seeing your posts where you talked about you showed yourself. You took a selfie on your community posts, and they seem to be really appreciative. But anyway, cool. Well, I guess I'll make some edits, and if you change your mind and you want it on your channel, then just shoot me a message, and I'll probably put this up on the 3rd. So.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one, Lauren.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.